YCTV Retrograde. Today we are checking out Dead TCG, Mega Man Warrior, the trading card game from 2004 from Decipher Games after the break. So what we have here are two starter decks from the power-up edition of Mega Man Warrior, made by Decipher Games. These came out in 2004. I happened to score these for pretty cheap, as well as the booster box. Not going to look at the booster box right now. 10 cards per pack, 24 per booster. We'll look at that in Kraken Pack future episode. Today we are checking out the starter decks. Mega Man, Torchman, respectively. What do you get? We're talking 5 foil cards. Like I said, Decipher put these out. The year was 2004, and Magic the Gathering, Pokemon was pretty much full swing, so the card game scene, a lot of Dead TCGs came from that time. So what do you get out of the starter deck? You get a playmat, an instruction booklet, rule book, breaking down. It's basically one person versus another person with their 60-card deck. Each deck has a net navi. I will say the foiling for this is pretty awesome. You really got to appreciate that. In your 60-card deck, what you're doing is you have 4 different types of cards. Your net navi card, you have a resource card, which functions as a spell. Let's go ahead and zoom this in real quick. Battle chips function as instant cards. Event cards, resources, and net navi. Your net navi is basically the personality of the deck. You have 60 cards, basically is your health. We'll learn how to play later, but basically in your 60 card deck, what you get here, we'll take a look at what you get. I did learn how to play a little bit. I will say it is a pretty cool experience. I can see why it might have failed, just the pack breaking experience. The net navi cards are super cool. They function as your creatures, and they have a lot of personality and look really awesome. However, once you get into the nitty-gritty, this is a resource card. Looks pretty cool, actually, because it is in foil. So kind of flip through here and see what we get. Doesn't really mean much for people who don't know how to play. This is a resource card as well. Spend burn a power to make an opponent lose 2 energy. Fire it up, a resource card, spend 1 to lose 1 energy, add 3 to add to your blast destiny. So basically how it functions on the very rudimentary level, you have 2 strength, 2 defense. So throughout the game you're using cards to power up your strength to deal blasts. So you have burn 1 power to make your defense +3. My defense is 2. So at the base level, if my opponent has to use his cards to buff up his attack to 4, 6, 8, my defense is 2. He hits me with an 8 attack. I have a base 2. I can play this card to get it up to a 5. I would take 3 damage. Damage, basically what I would do is from my deck, I burn cards from my deck. Once the deck is exhausted, that's how you lose. But these are just kind of what the cards look like. Haven't quite played, but I'll put my fingerprints on the front of the cards. I'll put that right there. But I will say it's pretty unique. After I look through these, we look at these together, I will show you a quick setup, and pretty unique. It's pretty interesting. So strength +2. But like I said, as far as the pack breaking experience goes, when you get 10 cards in a pack, I feel like these are just kind of screenshots from the anime. I believe this is based on an anime from that era. Some of these cards, this is a unique all-original art. Looks pretty cool. Looks awesome. However, a lot of these cards just, like, you know, when you play Magic, you play Pokemon, you like breaking creatures. You like breaking things that you can kind of just identify what they are quickly. These are just kind of like vague screen caps. However, the gameplay is fun, and, you know, this event card. Discard a card to cancel Blast Destiny. Interesting. So that's pretty much the starter decks. I'm seeing a lot of familiar cards. Some, you know, unique cards as far as the Mega Man deck goes. I will say the foiling is pretty nice. You know, compared to like a Magic the Gathering. That's a sharp looking foil of the time. You get some really cool effects here. There you go. That looks nice. The back of the cards are pretty nice as well. Monetarily speaking, you can pick up starter deck for about $5 to $8, including shipping on eBay, as far as that goes. So that is the Torchman starter deck. Really doesn't really mean anything to you right now. However, the Mega Man deck I do kind of have, and I have it sleeved. This is the base level Mega Man. Looks pretty awesome. I mean, that foiling is pretty sweet, as well as a lot of these cards. I think the foil cards are unique, but a lot of similar type cards. So when you're breaking open a pack for $4 and you get a lot of these anime kind of screenshots, you know. But the gameplay is fun itself. These are the starter decks. So for about $5 to $6, you get a 60 card starter deck. The quality of the cards are top notch. Let's go ahead and check out some quick gameplay, and I'll show you how that sets up right now. So here's the Mega Man NC Warrior play mat area. This is included inside the starter deck box, and what we are looking at is we have our net navi area, 4 resource slots, power gauge from 1 to 5, and a spot for our deck. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our net navi card, put it right here in the area, and take our deck, go ahead and give that a shuffle. What you're going to do is decide who goes first as you cut your deck. Let's go ahead and fix the focus. No autofocus. You cut your deck. You look at the number. It is a random, so I would get a 4. My opponent would grab a 1, so I would go first. Shuffle your deck, and you put your deck down. Not like other TCGs, kind of a low hand count. You draw up to 4. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. What we're going to do now is we're going to power up on my turn. So once I would go first, I would put 1 card here, and I would put it in the power up area. So that means cards that I have, I can play. As you can see, this card needs at least 3 power gauges to go. So much like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, you would need at least 3 energy cards, 3 lands on field to play this card. However, I do have a card that doesn't cost any, and I have a card that costs 2. So on your turn, after you power up, you can draw a card. You would discard a card, so if you have more than 5 cards total, you would discard down to 5. This is a 3 power battle chip I cannot use. It has 2 red bars here. Basically means I would have to have 2 red resources in play. I can't play resources for free, so it is now the play resources phase. Let's zoom back in on the board. I would pay my free resource screen. Basically would mean I could exhaust this card, spend, draw a card. I can play another red resource card. Spend, lose energy to make your opponents lose an energy. So I would play that right there as well. So on my play resource phase, that is finished. My phase after that is I could play events. I don't have any events that I can activate. Basically, these happen instantaneously. Draw 2 cards. Can't activate any of those. But what I can do is I can exhaust my text on my card over here. I could exhaust this, spend, draw a card. See what we get. Doesn't really help us right now. It is my turn. I can play a battle chip. I cannot spend a battle chip. However, I can blast. I have 2 strength, 2 defense, and my blast destiny is 2. Basically what blast destiny means is I would need at least 2 energy cards in the bar active in order to activate the blast destiny to shoot a offensive shot towards my enemy. I cannot do that right now, so I'd pass my turn. My turn is over. After my turn is over, my opponent would go, do the same, field their turn, pass it back to me. I would power up, so now I can play 2. I would draw a card, and I have a resource that has spend 2, add 2. So I could put this right on my resource phase. I could put this here as well. Event is not a resource, so I would go to my next phase, basically play events, spend resources, play battle chips. I can burn this. Since it's an event card, it happens instantly. Draw 2 cards. I have a battle chip. Awesome. So I have 2 energy. I have a battle chip. I can play this. So like other games like Mana and Magic the Gathering, you do not tap lands, so as long as I have 2 energy to spend, I can use as many cards as I like. So what I'm going to do is, on my offensive turn, I'm going to stop there. Let's look at what we got here. So my blast destiny is 2, my strength is 2, and my defense is 2. I would spend this card on my turn. Now my strength is 4. You can use dice to symbolize this. For the time being, we'll just memorize it. So I do have a 4 attack. I would use my blast destiny. I flip 2 cards. on my power, so it's kind of a risk reward. You take the highest number. The highest number is 4. I would add that to my score, so 4 plus 4 is 8, so my blast is 8. My opponent's, who is, let's just say that they are running the torch deck, his defense is a 2. So I have a 8 attack launching at my opponent. My opponent has 2 defense. On their turn, they don't play anything to buff up their score, so they would take 8 damage. They would take 8 cards off the top of their deck. They burn it, and they put it in the resource pile. First person to exhaust their deck loses. Now, since I did activate my Blast Destiny, the cards that I did flip over go into my burn pile. Now on my next turn, when I would power up, I would start from scratch again. So it's kind of risk reward. You burn your energy to exhaust it that way. You don't tap, however you can burn your energy. And that's at the very fundamental, basic way how to play Mega Man Anti-Warrior, the trading card game. I will say, pretty fun. I did manage to get a couple games in, and it's pretty decent. It's a fun experience if you can pick up the starter decks. Maybe pick up some boosters as well. I do see how it definitely did not shine as far as Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, timeless classics in that regard. However, not a fan of the anime. I am a video gamer, and I will say, scratches that nostalgic itch. I really enjoy it. I would recommend picking these up. These are dirt cheap. I mean, $5-10 a starter deck. Booster box, not even 5. Booster box, $15, $20. Honestly, I'm probably wasting my money, but I enjoy this stuff. I enjoy trading card games. I'm throwing stuff everywhere. Stay tuned for Kraken Packs. We will get into this bad boy. In the meantime, hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Dean, Young Corpse Television. I really appreciate you guys. We are on the ground level, and I mean, get in on the ground level right now. Be one of 20 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Young Corpse Television. Let's play.